that night in the hotel room? Skipper and I...
I don't want to hear about it.
Why won't you face the truth just once? About Skipper, about me, about yourself.
One thing about Hollywood's golden age, the off-screen affairs of its biggest stars were just as grand as the movies. From cheating scandals to volcanic love stories, here are 15 celebrity affairs in Hollywood. Number 15. Jim Bakker and Jessica Hahn. Often referred to as the PTL scandal, the Jim Bakker affair is definitely one for the books. It involved televangelist Jim Bakker and his Praise the Lord or PTL ministry. Buckle up, because this affair ultimately led to one of the most significant scandals in the late 1980s. So while it centered primarily on Bakker and his religious empire, it did shake the very depths of Hollywood by capturing significant media attention. So what's the story here? Jim Bakker, along with his then-wife Tammy Faye Bakker, founded the PTL ministry. In time, it grew into a multi-million-dollar empire, including a Christian theme park called Heritage USA. Everything was good until 1987, when it was revealed that Bakker had paid hush money to a church secretary named Jessica Hahn, and that hush money was meant to cover up a series of rape allegations. Just like that, a scandal erupted that shook everyone. The magnitude of the stories led to further investigations into the financial practices of the PTL ministry. The result? An immense fallout nobody anticipated. First up, Jessica Hahn alleged that Bakker had sexually assaulted her back in 1980. Bakker denied the claim, stating the encounter was consensual. But wouldn't you say that the payment to keep her silence is an admission of guilt? Subsequent investigations also uncovered extensive financial mismanagement within the PTL organization. Bakker and his associates were accused of diverting millions of dollars for personal use, while also defrauding thousands of followers who had invested in lifetime partnerships with the ministry. By 1989, Jim Bakker was convicted on numerous counts of fraud and conspiracy. He was sentenced to 45 years in prison. This sentence was later reduced on appeal, and he was released after serving approximately 5 years.
Well, thank you so much. I'm sincerely grateful to you. Yeah. All right.
Number 14. Cary Grant and Sophia Loren. The affair between Cary Grant and Sophia Loren has been traced back to their meeting on the set of the 1957 film The Pride and the Passion. However, some accounts swear that it was a later film, Houseboat in 1958, that set the flames for their affair. By captivating the public and the press, given the high-profile nature of both stars and the complexities involved, it became one of Hollywood's most talked-about romances. If you are familiar with Cary Grant, then you know he was a leading man in Hollywood. By the mid-1950s, he was already a significant figure in the film industry. Known for his suave demeanor and roles in classic films like North by Northwest and An Affair to Remember. Sophia Loren, on the other hand, was a rising star from Italy, renowned for her beauty and acting talent. The Pride and the Passion was one of her first major Hollywood films, and arguably marked her entry into the American film market. But of course, a scandalous affair was brewing. Despite a significant 30-year difference between them, their chemistry was palpable both on and off the screen. As the story goes, Grant is captivated by Loren's beauty and charm, and what did he do? He pursued her ardently. Now this is where the complications come in. At the time, Loren was involved with Italian filmmaker-producer Carlo Ponti, who had been instrumental in her career. Ponti was also married, but that is a whole other matter on its own. When news of this relationship hit the news, it became a media sensation, fueled by paparazzi photos and rampant speculation. The press was fascinated by the potential love triangle involving two of the biggest names in Hollywood and a prominent European actress. Cary Grant reportedly proposed to Loren, hoping to marry her. However, Loren faced a difficult choice between Grant and Ponti. In the end, she ultimately chose Ponti. Perhaps she believed he had been a steadfast support in her life and career. The Cary Grant-Sophia Loren affair remains one of Hollywood's legendary romances. Wouldn't you agree that it is reflective of the larger-than-life nature of Hollywood romances? To date, the intense public interest in the private lives of stars is still a societal flaw. Up next, a tumultuous affair that inspired the 2005 critically acclaimed film Walk the Line.
I haven't sung in a long time, and I've been busy doing other things.
Number 13. Johnny Cash and June Carter. The love affair between Johnny Cash and June Carter began in the late 1950s and eventually led to their marriage in 1968. Sounds like an uneventful situation, right? Well, get ready to be shocked. This love affair was one of the most tumultuous romances in the history of American music. As you are about to learn, their relationship not only captivated Hollywood, but also significantly impacted the world of country music. Johnny Cash was already a major figure in country music by the late 1950s. He was known for his deep voice and somewhat rebellious image. June Carter came from the legendary Carter family, one that is recognized as the first family of country music. In her own right, she was an accomplished singer, songwriter, and actress. Now, sometime in 1956, Cash and Carter met backstage at the Grand Ole Opry. As the story goes, their relationship deepened while touring together in the early 1960s. Their chemistry on stage was undeniable, and in time, the speculation and rumors about their offstage relationship stuck. So what made this scandal of epic proportions? Well, both Cash and Carter were married to other people at the time. Cash was married to Vivian Liberto, with whom he had 4 daughters, and Carter was married to Edwin "Rip" Nix, with whom she had 1 daughter. First thing the couple had to overcome was the intense scrutiny born out of the wide media coverage. Cash and Carter eventually divorced their partners in 1966. And in a dramatic moment in February 1968, Cash proposed to Carter during a live performance on stage. By the 1st of March 1968, the lovebirds tied the knot. Their love story became a symbol of redemption and enduring love that eventually resonated with fans and the public. They stayed married for over 3 decades and continued to perform until their deaths in 2003.
Sometimes I know exactly what you're going to say. Most of the time. The other times... you're just a stinker.
Number 12. Humphrey Bogart and Loren Bacall. It goes without saying that the affair and subsequent marriage between Humphrey Bogart and Loren Bacall is one of Hollywood's most legendary romances. But before the happy ending and marriage, it started off as a scandalous affair. It all began during the filming of To Have and Have Not in 1944. At the time, Humphrey Bogart was a well-established star in Hollywood. We mean he could easily be recognized for his roles in films like Casablanca and The Maltese Falcon. Interestingly, he was also married to his 3rd wife, Mayo Methot, but even that could not stop the infatuation with the 19-year-old model and actress Loren Bacall. Unlike Bogart, Bacall was making her film debut in To Have and Have Not. Her sultry voice and stunning looks quickly made her a standout. One could argue that the immediate and undeniable chemistry between the 2 stars also helped solidify her status as a screen diva. Unfortunately, there was more to it. Their on-screen rapport translated into a real-life romance. Despite Bogart's marital status, there was also a significant age difference. Bogart was 44 and Bacall was 19. As the story goes, the affair began in secret due to Bogart's marriage. Their intense and passionate relationship quickly became the talk of Hollywood. Bogart eventually divorced Methot in 1945. Considering the divorce proceedings were highly publicized, it only added to the scandal surrounding his relationship with Bacall. Without much delay, Bogart and Bacall tied the knot on the 21st of May 1945. The couple starred in several more films together and continued to captivate the audience with their on-screen chemistry. Contrary to popular belief, their marriage lasted until Bogart's death from esophageal cancer in 1957. Theirs is the tale of an enduring love despite the outside noise. Not sensational enough, here is number...
Happy birthday to you.
Number 11. Marilyn Monroe and John Kennedy. Perhaps one of the most enduring and sensational rumors in American history is one that blended the worlds of Hollywood glamour and political power. And that affair is none other than the alleged affair between Marilyn Monroe and President John F. Kennedy. We all remember Marilyn Monroe as an iconic Hollywood star known for her beauty, charisma, and troubled personal life. By the 60s, she had solidified her position as a symbol of glamour and sexuality. By a web of design, she found herself entangled in a web alongside the 35th President of the United States. So what were the rumors and speculation? As the story goes, there was a clandestine relationship going on between the two. And the most infamous moment that fueled these rumors was Marilyn Monroe's sultry performance of Happy Birthday, Mr. President. Her breathtaking rendition was delivered during Kennedy's birthday celebration at Madison Square Garden on May 19, 1962. From that point, people believed that Monroe and Kennedy met on several occasions. Their meetings were said to be facilitated by mutual friends such as Frank Sinatra and Peter Lawford. Reports also suggest that they spent time together at private parties and possibly at Kennedy's friend's house in Palm Springs. But while there is no definitive proof of the affair, rumors and speculation about Monroe and Kennedy's relationship have persisted for decades. True or not, The alleged affair had significant implications. For Kennedy, it posed a risk to his political career and public image. Remember, this was a time when moral standards and the scrutiny of public figures were stringent. For Monroe, it added to the perception of her as a troubled star entangled in controversial relationships. Speaking of Frank Sinatra, he soon found himself in a scandal of his own.
Pushed around and neglected.
What exactly you plan to do about it?
Plenty. I'm going to do just plenty.
Don't you think it's about time you got started?
Number 10. Frank Sinatra and Ava Gardner. The intensity and drama surrounding the affair between Frank Sinatra and Ava Gardner made it one of Hollywood's most passionate and tumultuous romances. By the late 1940s, Frank Sinatra was captivating audiences everywhere with his smooth voice and charismatic presence. But of course, a turbulent affair that would rock his world was on the horizon. At the time, Ava Gardner was a rising star in Hollywood, renowned for her stunning beauty and acting talent. Not to mention her fiery personality and independence, she was quite the it girl. Sinatra and Gardner first met in the early 1940s, but their relationship began in earnest around 1948. Notably, Sinatra was still married to his childhood sweetheart, Nancy Barbado. So when the affair became public in 1949, it was a full-blown scandal. Their relationship wasn't without flaws, though. Yes, it was marked by intense passion, but they were also known for their explosive arguments. Sinatra and Gardner married on November 7, 1951, shortly after Sinatra's divorce from Nancy was finalized. Gardner's career continued to flourish during their marriage, but Sinatra faced significant professional challenges. His career was in decline, and he even struggled with feelings of inadequacy and jealousy over Gardner's success. Well, that was until his critically acclaimed performance in From Here to Eternity in 1953. This role earned him an Academy Award and served as the boost he needed for his waning career. However, the constant fighting and infidelity on his part took a toll on their marriage. Gardner filed for divorce in 1954, and it was eventually finalized in 1957. Despite the divorce, they maintained a connection and continued to care deeply for each other. Next, another case of infidelity from an unexpected face.
We're going to do something extremely fun. We're going to play a wonderful game called Who is My Daddy and What Does He Do? Yes?
Number 9. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Sometime in 2011, an affair involving Arnold Schwarzenegger came to light, and it not only shook Hollywood but also had significant personal and public repercussions. Arnold Schwarzenegger wasn't just a Hollywood action star. He was also an influential political figure who served as the governor of California from 2003 to 2011. At the time, Schwarzenegger was married to Maria Shriver, a journalist and, interestingly enough, a member of the Kennedy family. Their marriage was considered a powerful union, as it blended Hollywood glamour with political legacy. But it all came crashing down when Schwarzenegger decided he was done with the secrets. Shortly after Schwarzenegger left office as governor, he decided to come clean about fathering a child with Mildred Baena, a longtime member of their household staff. This secret affair had taken place more than a decade earlier. The child, Joseph Baena, was born in 1997. Schwarzenegger kept the affair and the child a secret for many years, even from his wife. As the story goes, the truth came to light when Shriver began to notice a resemblance between her husband and the child. By May 2011, Schwarzenegger and Shriver announced their separation after 25 years of marriage. The scandalous affair notably strained Schwarzenegger's relationships with his children. Thankfully, he has since worked to rebuild those connections. Despite the scandal, Schwarzenegger continued his career in both acting and public life. He has taken responsibility for his actions in interviews and also expressed regret for the pain caused to his family.
You can't choose who you're gonna love.
Well, I know that.
You know, it just happens. And I think you're a decent person, and I respect you.
I respect you, too.
Number 8. Meg Ryan and Russell Crowe. Known for her roles in romantic comedies like When Harry Met Sally and Sleepless in Seattle, Meg Ryan was one of Hollywood's most beloved actresses by the late 1900s. She was married to actor Dennis Quaid, with whom she had a son. However, during the filming of the movie Proof of Life, Meg Ryan met another actor, Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe was an up-and-coming actor gaining prominence for his roles in such films as Gladiator. Both actors played the lead roles in the film, and their on-screen chemistry quickly turned into a real-life romance. News of the affair broke while Ryan was still married to Quaid. As expected, the result was an intense media scrutiny. Paparazzi and tabloids extensively covered the affair, which painted Ryan in a negative light as the instigator of the marital breakdown. Ryan and Quaid soon announced their separation in June 2000, and their divorce was finalized in 2001. While Ryan's affair with Crowe was initially blamed for the split, Ryan later revealed that Quaid had also been unfaithful during their marriage. Sadly, the affair had a noticeable impact on her career, as she faced public backlash and the end of her America's sweetheart image. Next, an affair that led to even bigger losses. Number 7. Tiger Woods. Now, this affair is one of the most infamous scandals in sports and entertainment history. Tiger Woods found himself at the center of a grand scandal when the revelations about his numerous extramarital affairs came to light. Where do we even begin? By 2009, Tiger Woods was one of the most successful and recognizable athletes in the world. He had dominated the sport of golf, won numerous major championships, and became a global icon. At the time, he was married to Ellen Nordgren, a former Swedish model. The couple had 2 children and were often seen as the epitome of the perfect family. However, the scandal began to unfold in November 2009, when Woods was involved in a mysterious car accident near his home in Florida. Reports initially focused on the accident, but soon details emerged that it was linked to a domestic dispute following the revelation of Woods' infidelity. Following the accident, multiple women came forward, claiming to have had affairs with Woods. The number of alleged mistresses grew rapidly, painting a picture of widespread and systematic infidelity. The scandal led to significant financial repercussions for Woods. Major sponsors ended their endorsement deals with him, resulting in substantial financial losses and damaging his marketability. By December, Woods issued a public apology, admitting to infidelity and acknowledging his personal failings. He announced an indefinite break from professional golf to focus on repairing his family relationships. Notably, Woods and Nordgren divorced in 2010. The divorce settlement was reported to be one of the most expensive in history, estimated at about $100 million. But before we head back to the Golden Age, let's run through a couple more modern actors with the biggest affairs.
I don't remember that. Because I didn't do that. Why would I do that? I wouldn't do that. It doesn't make sense.
Number 6. Ben Affleck. Right from the very start, Ben Affleck's romantic relationships and affairs have been a significant focus of Hollywood media. All through his career, he has made himself the center of some of the most notable affairs and relationships that have shaken Hollywood. The earliest can be traced back to 2002, when he started dating Jennifer Lopez. Their relationship quickly became a media sensation, characterized by intense paparazzi scrutiny and public interest. They got engaged, but the constant media attention and speculation put significant strain on their relationship. The two parted ways in 2004, and he went on to date Jennifer Garner, who he met on the set of Pearl Harbor back in 2001. They married in June 2005 and had 3 children together. But of course, they headed straight to divorce in 2015. You see, rumors surfaced that Affleck was having an affair with their children's nanny, Christine Uzunian. While Affleck denied the allegations, the scandal was widely covered by the media. Their divorce was finalized in 2018. Affleck found himself in a couple more relationships until he sparked things up again with Jennifer Lopez. The two tied the knot in 2022, but a couple years down the line and the media is already now speculating there's trouble on the horizon. If you made it this far, do hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any updates from us. Be sure to keep watching. You certainly don't want to miss out on the #1 Golden Age star who fueled not one but 2 of the biggest Hollywood affairs.
Did you try something new?
Number 5. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. The mid-2000s affair between Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie is one of the most famous and controversial romances in Hollywood history. Known for his roles in films such as Fight Club, Ocean's 11, and Troy, Brad Pitt was one of Hollywood's leading actors. He had the looks, charisma, and wealth, and to crown it all, he was married to the gorgeous TV star Jennifer Aniston. But this didn't age well. Pitt met Angelina Jolie while filming the action comedy Mr. and Mrs. Smith in 2004. So great was their on-screen chemistry that rumors of an affair began to circulate. Pitt was still married to Aniston, so this was a scandal of seismic proportions. The affair was officially confirmed when Pitt and Aniston announced their separation in January 2005, followed by their divorce later that year. Pitt and Jolie's relationship, dubbed Bradjelina, became a global media sensation. They were seen as one of Hollywood's most glamorous and powerful couples. Together, they raised 6 children, 3 of whom were adopted from different countries. Again, this equally glorious marriage did not stand the test of time. After several years together, Jolie filed for divorce in September 2016. Number 4. Kristen Stewart. This list can definitely not be complete without mention of the cheating scandal involving Kristen Stewart and Rupert Sanders. It was a major Hollywood event that had significant ramifications for everyone involved. Due to her role as Bella Swan in the hugely successful Twilight film series, Kristen Stewart was at the height of her fame in 2012. Her off-screen relationship with co-star Robert Pattinson was an equally famous affair. Their public personas were often referred to as Robston by fans. Everything was fine until British director Rupert Sanders was thrown into the mix. The two met on the set of Snow White and the Huntsman. By July 2012, photos of them in compromising situations made it to the media. The affair quickly went viral and led to widespread shock and speculation. Following the release of the photos, both Stewart and Sanders issued public apologies. Stewart expressed deep regret for her actions, stating that she had hurt those closest to her, particularly Pattinson. While Stewart and Pattinson briefly broke up, they later reconciled only to eventually part ways permanently in 2013. Sanders, who was married to model Liberty Ross at the time, also apologized publicly to his family. Liberty Ross initially tried to work through the fallout, but ultimately filed for divorce in January 2013. The scandal pretty much damaged Sanders' reputation in Hollywood and affected his career trajectory. Diving right back into the golden age, we have number...
That's all you have?
Yes.
What do you think you can do with that?
Plenty.
I am your wife. And this is your home, but I'm not like you. You slept very well last night, huh?
Number 3. Ingrid Bergman and Roberto Rossellini. Sometime in the late 1940s and early 1950s, beloved actress Ingrid Bergman became the center of a scandal that shook Hollywood. Yes, we are talking about the infamous extramarital affair with Italian director Roberto Rossellini. As you are about to see, this affair had significant repercussions, both professionally and personally, for Bergman. But first, how did it begin? Ingrid Bergman was one of Hollywood's most revered actresses, known for her roles in classics such as Casablanca and Gaslight. Her image was that of a wholesome, virtuous woman, both on and off the screen. But while filming the 1950 film Stromboli, Bergman began an affair with director Rossellini. At the time, Bergman was married to Dr. Peter Lindstrom, with whom she had a daughter. Rossellini was also married, so you can imagine that the relationship quickly became a highly publicized scandal. The affair and Bergman's subsequent pregnancy out of wedlock were met with moral outrage. The entire affair was seen as a betrayal of her perceived purity, not to mention the sanctity of her marriage. A U.S. Senator, Edwin C. Johnson, went so far as to denounce Bergman. A powerful influence for evil, he called her, and thereafter condemned her as a disgrace to the institution of marriage. Her career in Hollywood suffered significantly as well. Studios were reluctant to hire her, and she faced widespread condemnation from the press and public alike. Bergman moved to Italy to be with Rossellini. They got married and went on to have 3 children. But this is not the happy ending you may be expecting. Their marriage eventually ended in divorce in 1957. Next, an affair that sparked the kind of tabloid culture that now surrounds celebrity relationships.
That night in the hotel room, Skipper and
I don't want to hear about it.
Why won't you face the truth just once? About Skipper, about me, about yourself.
Hey, everybody.
Number 2. Elizabeth Taylor and Eddie Fisher. Elizabeth Taylor and Eddie Fisher's affair in the late 1950s was one of the most scandalous events in Hollywood history. This, of course, was due to the high profile of the individuals involved. So how does a scandal of such magnitude begin? Remember, Elizabeth Taylor was one of Hollywood's biggest stars. By the late 1950s, she was already in her 3rd marriage to film producer Mike Todd. Then tragedy struck. The tragic death of Mike Todd in a plane crash in 1958 was the catalyst that sparked everything. Then came Eddie Fisher. He was a popular singer and actor known for his crooning style. He was married to America's sweetheart Debbie Reynolds. Now, Fisher was a family friend who offered comfort to the grieving Taylor. In time, the lines got blurred and the relationship soon turned romantic. Never mind that Fisher was still married. Can you imagine the outcry? Debbie Reynolds and Eddie Fisher had been seen as the perfect couple, and the betrayal shocked many. The media coverage was relentless, and each one painted Taylor as a homewrecker and Fisher as undisciplined and selfish. Fisher divorced Debbie Reynolds in 1959 and married Elizabeth Taylor soon after. If anything, Debbie Reynolds actually gained more popularity. Did we forget to mention how she found out about it all? Well, get ready to be shocked. As the story goes, she and her husband had attended some fancy party. Elizabeth Taylor was also in attendance, and Reynolds could just tell something was wrong. She could hear the whispers around her, and before the party was done, she had put 2 and 2 together. As some consolation, The public sided with her, and she went on to have a successful career in film and television. As for the culprits, Elizabeth Taylor remained a major star through it all, but Eddie Fisher was not so lucky. His career suffered significantly, and he never regained his former level of success. The sad part, though, their marriage was short-lived. Shocking, right? Wait till you see our next affair.
You filled my life. Like a great noise that I hear everywhere in my heart.
Number 1. Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton. Fresh off the scandal with Eddie Fisher, Elizabeth Taylor would find herself in another relationship with Richard Burton by the start of the early 1960s. As you can already imagine, this was an even bigger scandal that captivated the public and media. And that's because the two stars involved were some of the most famous actors of their time. If you recall, Elizabeth Taylor was already renowned for multiple marriages behind her, one of which included her stormy marriage to Eddie Fisher. Now, she was still married to him when she met Richard Burton, a Welsh actor known for his intense performances and deep, resonant voice. Burton was married to Sybil Williams, but that did nothing to stop the blossoming affair. The fiery affair began on the set of Cleopatra in 1962. You know, Taylor played the titular role, but Burton was cast alongside her as Mark Antony. Their on-screen chemistry was palpable enough, but little did everyone know that it would spin into a real-life romance. The affair was highly publicized. Paparazzi and media outlets relentlessly followed their every move. It was all anyone could talk about for months. Even the Vatican denounced their relationship, tagging it an erotic vagrancy. Both Taylor and Burton divorced their respective spouses in 1964 and got married the same year. This was the start of one of Hollywood's most infamous and tumultuous marriages. From the intense passion and frequent arguments to their lavish lifestyle and extravagant spending on jewelry and luxury items, they were quite the couple. They notably divorced and got married 2 more times. Whatever it was, they both couldn't be without the other, and that was the case until Burton's death in 1984. So which one of these captivated you more? Do share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button. You also can't miss the next video on your screen.